Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And this is the Football Talk podcast. What are you guys saying?
Yo, just enjoying the bank holiday. Was everyone else saying?
Yeah, so we've been off for a couple of weeks because we've all been busy, but we are back. And today we're mainly going to focus on the season review. We're going to talk about the Arsenal performance, the bottle job or not the bottle job, Man City, United and Liverpool. But we'll try and focus on all teams, the relegated teams too, and Aston Villa, amazing run that they've had with Unai on charge. But we'll briefly talk about all teams if we can within the time frame that we've got in the podcast. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and give this video some love. So hit the thumbs up button and also make sure that you hit the notification bell as well. Let's get cracking, boys. Let's go with the champions, Man City. What are your thoughts on that? Any surprises or usual end of the story?
I don't know. I don't know what to say about them because they drew to Brighton and lost to Brentford, but obviously they played the C team. So I'm always gonna have that thing at the back of my mind of what if like we won our games and we could have cracked 90 points. But I think if City took those games more seriously, they probably would have beaten them. But on paper, they got 89 points and they didn't crack the 90 points. So there's always going to be a what if thing at the back of my mind now.
I don't think you need the what if. I think they would have won it if they wanted to win it. They knew the title race was done, so they didn't need to try. They didn't want to risk injuries. They didn't want to play at 100%. They knew they could play about 70% and get a draw or get a sneaky win against those teams anyway. I think they're just too consistent right now where you just have to get over 90 points to win the league. Otherwise, I think they would have maxed it out if they had to, because we saw what the other games, they beat you. So I don't see why they wouldn't have won those two games if they actually tried.
Yeah, but the away form hasn't been that at all that great this season. But I get your point that, if they played the main team, they probably would have taken it seriously because City come alive in these sort of games. But it's been weird that, City didn't even crack 90 points. So there's always going to be that what if scenario. But, they have got a few games coming up, FA Cup final, Champions League final. So their minds were probably on that.
Isn't that always the case? We're always going to say, what if that? It was always going to happen. Like we can go back to the three games that we fucked up on. The Everton game, the Southampton game, West Ham one. Those are the three key games. And the Brentford one, if it wasn't for the VAR. Those are four key games that if we basically came out with 12 points, we would have, not even 12 points, even 6 points. 67 points, we would have won the league. But then again, it's just a what if scenario. It's like, that's what we all think about, isn't it? In hindsight, because if you say that if we did win those games, City would have gone in a longer run. So, and they could have beaten the last two games. So yeah, it's just one of those scenarios where we didn't deserve to win the title. Well, we could have won the title, but I think Arsenal and Man City both would have been worthy champions. So I wouldn't say we didn't deserve to win the titles. I think those are the two teams that are considered as worthy champions, because I'm just looking at the goal difference right now. I'm actually quite astonished that Arsenal scored 88 goals.
Yeah, it's the most you've got ever in the Premier League season from what I read.
88 goals, and we've conceded more. That's because of our last 10 games that we've started to wobble due to Saliba's injury and also a bit of fatigue being played in. But considering the fact that Man City only scored 6 more goals with that juggernaut up front, that's an impressive stats, an impressive season from Arsenal. I'm not taking anything away from City. That they're well done, City. And I hope you guys enjoy the title, and hope you guys get into trouble as well, so United fans can no longer boast about it. Bavic's face there.
It's fine. There's will always be tainted. No, all I'll leave on the table is 115. That's all I need to say about City.
Well, you guys can stop that anyway. So,
it's in our hands. I don't have any hope on it.
You got a big final coming up. So, you guys can stop that. It's in your hands.
It's in our hands. I just don't see it. I think City will click back into gear. I think they're just taking off the last 2 games. They've decided, you know what, title's done. No need to overdo it. Save ourselves for the 2 finals. The only hope we've got is if Pep overthinks it again.
I think Rashford will get a penalty and miss it, next week.
He doesn't like when he does he?
Well, we've got that. Well, with Weghorst up front, you've got no chance, do you? I'm astonished that we got 3rd with that guy not getting a single league goal. It's just...
he didn't get a single... Oh, yeah, that's
one league goal.
That's an accomplishment itself.
It's just I need a goal scorer.
But just go back to that point. I think also have a better front 3 than City's. Even though they got Haaland, if you put all 3 together, I'd rather take Arsenal's front 3 than City's front 3.
Where it went wrong is that, at the crunch time, we weren't there and City were there. And at the end of the day, that's all matters. They were more consistent than us. And
it's the depth in squad that they've got and we don't. Like, if you look at their fucking players, they get some amazing backup players that come world-class sub bench. And we've got bloody Holding coming up playing in fucking Anfield. What are you going to expect playing Holding?
But then
what Arteta was thinking, like, playing Holding is not the one. He could have just played Pod. Why is he trying to do the experiment right at the end of when the season's finished, putting Partey and right back? He should have done that before.
Yeah, that's another thing where he should have played Kirill before Holding. Like, there was so many other experiments that he could have done, but he trusted Holding too much. And last year was the same, where we went to the final 2 games against Newcastle and Tottenham, and he played Holding, and it come back to bite him. And same thing happened this year. So
we all know that Holding isn't the caliber to even play in the Premier League. So I just don't understand how. I know he's a nice lad, etc. Sorry, Rob Holding, but you're not there. You're not a Premier League standard. I'm sorry.
Well, he can go to Luton now, innit? That's more sort of his club.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if Southgate goes and puts Maguire and Holding in our centre backs for England.
I don't think he's that sort of dumb, but I wouldn't put it past him.
I think a bit of perspective is needed as well with regards to where Arsenal were. I think if everyone looked at the start of the season, no one would have put Arsenal in the title race. So to be in it was an achievement in itself.
No one even thought they would be in the top 4.
Exactly. So it's a bit of perspective. I think they've got a good base to build on now. They've got, I think the front 3 is pretty much set. I think maybe a couple of decent backups in defence and maybe up front. You should be fine. You're not a million miles away, as the season's shown. It's just been an incremental increase in performance.
And they have the second youngest team as well, which is the good thing. So at least they've got the foundations all there with Holding there too. So
now I think pundits need to put a lot more respect on them, because I think Sky were doing their predictions for next season, and I think Micah Richards said that Arsenal will challenge next year, which I found a bit disrespectful. I think they weren't there by chance this season. They performed very well. There's no reason they can't carry on.
Yeah, pundits and Sky, I stopped taking their opinions seriously. They're just there to put on a show and be entertainers. When Roy Keane and Gary Neville are there, it's like pure popcorn entertainment. So that's all there for.
Yeah,
who they say we're going to compete next year?
I think they said Neville and Carragher said Liverpool will be back up there next year.
They said Chelsea will be up there as well.
And Chelsea,
They think Chelsea will be 3rd.
So the top 4 for next year, they think it's going to be Man City, Liverpool, United, and Chelsea.
Yeah, they didn't even say Newcastle, which I found disrespectful as well.
They got rid of Newcastle and Arsenal, and they just think it's just one of those seasons that we've had. And they completely forget about the fact that Newcastle are the richest club in the world.
Yeah.
they are gonna fuck you up.
And they got Champions League now to attract players, and they got the money to spend as well.
I only see Liverpool and United fighting for top 4 next season.
I think United, if they get a goal scorer, they'll be a bit more comfy in top 4. But I don't see them going towards the title, to be honest. Need a lot more depth.
The way I see Arsenal season was, Man City season was business as usual for Man City. That's literally how I will sum them up, because they literally came alive at the important part of the season. Arsenal's one's more like ambitious, hungry, tried, potential, will be back next year even stronger. That's how I sum that up, like good growth. Now this leads me to United's season. Bav, explain your opinion and thoughts on what you think, how the season can go.
After the first 2 games, I thought we'd be lucky to get top half the way it was going. So to turn it around this dramatically is an achievement for the manager. I think he's exceeded what a lot of professionals and pundits would have thought, to be honest. I think getting in the top 4 comfortably in the end, it looks like, without a proven goal scorer, with the Ronaldo situation, with De Gea's errors and Maguire situation. He's done a good job to get into the top 4. He's won a trophy as well, potentially in the second one. So I think it's a good first season for him. He's laid the foundation, as you guys have, and there's a springboard there for the next couple of seasons. Again, he needs to be backed again this summer. He needs definitely a lot better squad, as we saw towards April time. They were running on empty. Those defeats to Brighton and West Ham were just absolutely pathetic, but it comes with the amount of games that we played. But he needs that depth for next season. So, but I see it as a positive step. Good season, consider where we were last year.
You think you're going to buy players this transfer window, like a lot of them again, or?
I think, the outlays there. I think we've been linked with quite a lot of players. I have a funny feeling the takeover is pretty much set in stone now. Like, it's going to be, they know who they want. That's why their links are coming out, like with the Mason Mount link and a few of the others. So I feel like in the next 2 weeks we'll see something.
Big Harold Kane on his way.
Harry Kane. I think he would have been my first choice, but I can see why they do it. He's got experience of the league. He's never relied on pace. He could be like a Benzema going into his mid-30s. I could see that as a sensible, as one of the. I can see why the club would go for him.
Yeah, after the first 2 games that you had, I envisioned, the season Chelsea had that. I was thinking that you guys would have that sort of season, but yeah, you did turn it around, and Chelsea ended up having the worst season of their lives. So it's pretty funny to see them all the way down there.
They've been bantering Leeds. That just shows the state that the club's in.
2-part question. It would be 2-part question linked to United season, because Rio Ferdinand started to piss me off on the comments to make shit. One is, did Arsenal bottle the league? What's your thoughts on that? Yes, no.
If you look at it, if you on the look of it, it looks like it's been bottled because you were top 93%. But I'll go back to my point. You had no business being up there, given where you were. So it was just a miracle that you're there. Yes, it's a bottle, but what would you rather be bottled or just be, battling for top 4? I'd take that over a lot of the other team seasons, to be honest.
Nish?
Yeah, I think we did bottle it because the title was there for us, and the manner we bottled it against teams in the bottom half, Southampton no less. Like I mentioned in the previous podcast, West Ham and Southampton would have been the perfect games to try and get all 3 points, and the way we bottled it is disgraceful. So yeah, I think we did bottle it, but I'm still happy with the season we have had. But I think the title was in our reach. We were 8 points clear at one point. So yeah, I think we did end up bottling it.
Who had the better year? Who had the better year, Man United or Arsenal this year?
That was my second point question going to come up. Relax. What's the question first? Bottled or not?
I'd say like Arsenal played well, but I'd say you did bottle it only because the games you were 2-0 up in 2 games where you were on the run in. If you won those 2, title race could have been different, but you let 2 goals slip in 2 games in a row, which if you think about it, the start for the first half of the season, as soon as Arsenal 2-0 up, the other team won't even score. It was just done. Game was finished.
Game over, yeah.
So yeah, I'd say it was
Final
a bottle
point,
job.
a final point I'll add is to bottle in the first place, you have to be up there. So like you can't bottle without actually having challenge. So to challenge was, exceeding all expectations. So I think the word bottle, is used in the right term, but it's got to be put into context, to be honest.
Interesting question now. Mitt's already stolen the thunder. But my second part question was, if you want to be a host next week, go ahead.
I didn't even know you were going to ask that. I was just thinking in my head, what would I know? Because a lot of fans go, "Oh, at least we won the Carabao Cup, innit?"
Yeah. So my question was,
that's
the second part question was, so United won the Carabao Cup and Arsenal challenging for the league. Arsenal basically gave up all their domestic cups and Europa League just to challenge for the Premier League, but came up short. But United won the Carling Cup, well, whatever that shitty Mickey Mouse Cup is called now, and then they're in the final for the FA Cup. Which team out of United and Arsenal are more successful this season? Like, which one would you consider?
I would say if Man United win the FA Cup next week, then I'll say Man United had a better season. But I would say right now, if I had to choose, I would want to have Arsenal season because then I'd rather challenge for the title than just be just a number in the league who just wins the Carabao Cup. I'd rather have a season where, okay, I've got expectation where I've enjoyed it that the whole year. Potentially, I could win a title like the first one in, 20 years?
Yeah.
That's what I'd rather do. So I'd rather have Arsenal, even though they win a Carabao Cup, that means nothing to me anyway. If you was any other trophy, then I would say Man United would have had a better season. They could still do it. And I don't think Arsenal gave up the other cups. Like, you played your first team in the Europa League and the FA Cup, didn't you? And you lost that, which was, it's not you giving it up. That was just you losing in a normal cup run.
It's more like they didn't give 100%. That's the reason why and ended up losing.
Who did you not lose to in the Europa League? When I watched that game, you lot absolutely...
It was Sporting.
Yeah.
You battered them. They scored the wonder goal and they won... Was it? That was a penalty shootout. Yeah, that was a penalty. So you did give your all for that because you were the favourites to win that as well. If you did get through that, you would have won the Europa League. Well, unless some miracle for the other team happened again.
Yeah, no, I agree with me as well. I think I would go for our season rather than United's because you don't start a season just to win the Carabao Cup. You want to compete at all fronts. But if United do win the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, then I reckon United have had the better season because you win, 2 trophies, and that's like an achievement in itself. Liverpool did that last year as well. So I would take that over our season, but just the Carabao Cup and third or challenging for the title, I would rather have Arsenal season.
You want
and United's.
Do you not consider United being in the final in 2 finals success?
I don't. I wouldn't consider that. If you win it, yes,
you have to win it.
No one remembers second place.
Yeah. Awesome.
No one remembers Man City bottling the FA Cup final to Wigan. Everyone remembers the Wigan's winner.
Bhavik, your take?
I think, unless United win the FA Cup, I think I would rather have progress in the league. You set about, that's the one everyone wants to win the league. I know the Champions League is probably a bit more convoluted because it's the European Cup, but it's a cup at the end of the day. Anything can go against you. Like United's run to the Carabao Cup, look who we faced. It was just a bunch of nobodies. So I wouldn't consider that a success. I think for the concept of United, it's a sort of a success because they haven't won anything in like 7 years. It's 5-6 years. So for them, it was important to win a trophy, get one in the bag, get that winning mentality back. But that's all it would serve. I think if it was any other season where, we'd maybe, for you guys, you'd won the FA Cup a couple of years ago. So winning a trophy isn't as much as, progress in the league. Whereas United's context is a bit different, getting that trophy, that monkey off the back, which made sense. So I think in the context of things, if we beat City in the final, then it'll be a better season. But I don't think it's a terrible season. I think it's been something, it's a season that's shown a lot of progress. It's different for every team, isn't it? They've got different context behind them, different, barometers of success. I think for Arsenal, progress in the league was essential.
Do you disagree with your legend?
I disagree with him. Yeah, I don't think it's been a better season. I think our season, if anything, it's hard to compare the different contexts. I don't see success as, challenging for the title and being ultimately unsuccessful, but I don't see us winning a Mickey Mouse trophy either. The different ways of measuring it. So you guys are probably in a better position than us to challenge anyway.
So you're agreeing that Rio Ferdinand is being a trap?
Yeah, I think he's just doing it for a clickbait.
Yeah, he loves trolling.
Just like Gary Neville loves trolling.
Yeah, they know Arsenal fans will bait in, so they do it.
Yeah, the biggest one is Robbie.
I think context is going in. Yes, they won a trophy, but look at the hammerings we've had. There's been a few absolute pastings there, which you can't really label at Arsenal. Maybe the City one, but even that, it's against City. What can you expect?
So the other top 4 candidate was Newcastle. What do you guys think of their amazing performance to reach 4th?
Yeah, I didn't expect them there at all. I don't think anyone did. And, Eddie Howe has turned that club around. Last year they were just fighting for relegation, ended up finishing just above, just below bottom half, 12th or 13th. And then to turn them around in a season, challenging them for top 4. I think they were 3rd most of the season and getting them top 4. And they've spent that money wisely. They haven't gone about and doing a Chelsea where they spent like 700, 800 million. They spent it wisely on, Isak, Bruno Guimaraes, and, getting the right players in. So I think, there's going to be more to come from them in the next few years.
Guys?
I think they've done the way they played some good attacking football this season. It's sort of, you don't expect that from a team that's suddenly coming in. You usually expect that functional defensive stuff that you see with like Conte and Mourinho. But to get top 4 playing the sort of style they were, the amount of goals they've scored, it's only a positive. So I think they've been a bit of a dark horse this season. They've caused a lot of teams trouble. Their style of play is quite disruptive as well. I know none of the big teams like playing them. So there's more to come.
Fearful that they made the Champions League a season or 2 early?
Yep, 100%.
I think, if they go on a mad spending spree, then even City will be worried.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they don't spend anything this year and they just think, we've got a good team. We'll see how it goes next season, and the next season they drop out the top 4 again. That's my one hope. I think they have had a good season. I think the first half of the season is what got them top 4. I think during the last few games, like last 10, 12 games, they haven't been as good as they were at the start. They were conceding goals. Their attack was still okay. It was still as good as it started, but their defense went downhill during the last 10, 12 games. They were conceding goals in nearly every single game. So I'm hoping that continues into next year, because they did drop a lot of points. They gave us a chance to potentially get into top 4. I thought it would be the only one that would be able to help us would be United, but Newcastle dropped so many points where they were put under pressure until the last few games, until Aston Villa did them a favour and cheap to draw against us at Anfield.
Yeah, that's hopeful thinking, mate. Like hoping that they won't spend. That's like basically saying, yeah, you got $1 billion in your pocket and you won't spend a single penny. That's very wishful thinking. That's like Wenger.
They didn't spend much. They didn't spend much in the January window, or because when they were bought at the start of this season, wasn't it?
Yeah,
they didn't spend much then.
They spend wisely though.
They spend wisely, and they spend quite a bit considering the fact that the club was in a lot of shit. They did spend quite a lot. I can't remember what their figures was, but it was definitely top 5 last season spenders.
And
And
they're right now, their team's playing like a team. If they bring in one ego person like Ronaldo in, that could disrupt the whole team, like how it nearly did for United. So that could also happen as well. It's not always going to be perfect.
You just got to hope they don't have a coherent strategy. That's the main thing. You've seen Chelsea, and they just seem to be buying everyone. Anyone who could play football seems to be signing for them. So we got to hope that they seem to go the PSG way and just sign people for the sake of it, rather than having a coherent plan.
I'm surprised you haven't signed a contract with Chelsea yet, Bhavik, as a centre back.
I don't think I can see them winning the title under Eddie Howe, though. I think if they want to move on to that next level, they need a better coach for the title. I don't see them winning the title under Eddie Howe, even though he's done a fantastic job there. It's like, it reminds you of Man City under Mark Hughes, where they got rid of Mark Hughes, got Mancini in, and that's when they stepped onto the next level. So I think they need that. They need that transformation to like an elite manager to win the title.
And they also need a world-class player like Robinho did for Man City.
Yeah, Man City bought quite a good players, but it was their core that won them, like David Silva, Company, Yaya Toure.
Yeah, it was
Aguero.
It was
They bought their spine those first couple of years.
It was that core that carried them.
That first couple of years, they bought their spine. Within 2-3 years, they bought Aguero, Silva, Toure, and they already had Company before the billionaires came in. But that's when they signed their spine for the next 10 years.
So the next down the list, Liverpool. What's your thoughts on Liverpool season? Disappointed? Happy that revival kicked in a bit late?
Yeah, obviously disappointing. It was you'd consider this season a failure, going for the quadruple to not challenging for top 4, not even getting it. I think yesterday's game explained how our season went. So we other teams make mistake against us, we capitalize and we can score a few goals. But the thing is, we make even more mistakes to the other team, and then they end up scoring more goals against us. We go in at half time, Klopp does the team talk. We come out even worse, where we concede even more goals. And by the time it comes to the point where the team realize, okay, we've got to step it up, it's too late. You can try and recover the game, but the max you can manage is just a draw. So I think we lost, 8 away games this season? Considering we only lost 2 last season, that's where we lost out on top 4, maybe even for challenging for the title. Those 8 games is where last season I would expect us to win, win at least. And that's where the problem was, we always we conceded first. And that was just because our defense, the way we played, wasn't right. It was only, like you said, where the revival happened, where Trent started moving into midfield, where we overload midfield, that we managed to start controlling the games more. And yeah, if that happened too late, where now we're still unbeaten. We haven't lost a game since, 10 games now or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was Bournemouth, wasn't it? The last
Bournemouth one, yeah. No, was it City? City beat them.
Yeah, City, yeah.
Yeah, with City, yeah.
Yeah, you went on that. You went on that ridiculous run of winning.
So yeah, that's because we overload the midfield. Now teams couldn't literally attack where they're sitting our final third and attack. It would be they could only attack through the middle of the pitch. If they got through that, then they could have a chance and go. But since we had the extra body, we could ball off them and then go and attack ourselves right after that. But yeah, I think this season's a failure because of that. But I'm hoping just from this form that we've got, where I guess yesterday's game we were playing just our C-string team. There was no one playing apart from Trent and Salah and Jota as well. It was just a farewell appearance for Firmino, Milner and all sorts. We had Gomez in bloody centre-back who just ate like crap. But yeah, if we can just go into next season, just have a better preseason than we did at the start of this year, where we didn't play because we did the quadruple. We never had a proper preseason, so we went into the league not winning any of our first 3 games because we weren't ready for it. So we need to have a proper preseason. The next season will be better for us, and hopefully then I'm hoping we can challenge for the title if we do get a new set of midfielders in. We've got rid of 3 of our midfielders, so it can only mean we're gonna try and replace them. Just need some decent players to come in.
Alexis McAllister.
Do you see Trent as being CM permanently, or do you see him going back to right back?
No, it should still be right back, but you can just do the normal role of just coming into midfield as well. It doesn't hurt to have that extra body in there. So we just need three. I wish that we had the money Newcastle City had where we could afford Bellingham. I would love him in our team because he helped Dortmund challenge for the title, even though they bottled it.
That was hideous.
That was that's
It
a
would
new
be
level.
good to have like someone that could be a world-class player in that midfield and then have a lot of running legs around it and just having the depth in there again.
So, guys, next to the relegation battles. I know Mitt's disappointed about Everton that didn't make the drop, but sadly, the champions of 2016, I think it was, are now in Championship. They are now the second team in the Premier League history that have got that label. The first one was Blackburn. Now it's Leicester. So from champions to Championship, what are your thoughts on the teams that got relegated? Are you guys happy? The teams that are promoted are Burnley. Who else was there? Burnley,
Sheffield and Luton.
Yeah. Are you guys happy for those teams to come up? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Everton are just like a stain. They just won't go down. They took it to the final day and they still won't go down. I was hoping they go down because, Goodison is like a bogey ground. We were one there for like a couple of years. So I was hoping they go down, but the goal they scored deserves to keep them up. That was a ridiculous goal. And at the start of the season, I thought Leicester were too good to go down with the players they had. But they're down, and I want to see how Luton do in the Premier League next year with the stadium they have. You have to go for all them flats, all them sewage to get into the stadium.
Be an interesting trip to Kenilworth Road next season. I think they're not even fit for purpose. They have to spend 10 million to get it Premier League ready. It's
really funny.
Hilarious.
Seeing Man City superstars there.
Imagine Haaland rocking up behind someone's council house.
He kicks the ball through Son's window. I'm sad that Southampton are going down. I feel like they were the biggest bogey team for Man City in the last 10 years. So City's probably happy they've gone. I didn't really care if Leicester went down. I'm kind of happy they went down. They were all bogey team. And there's certain people that support them who are just very annoying. So now they can go back into their pipe hole and just shut up now.
I think I'm worried. I'm actually worried for Leicester. I know they've got quite a high wage bill. They're going to lose a lot of their players. And I think they have to clear the balance of books. Some good assets there, though, like Maddison, Barnes, Tielemans.
All of us are going to go raiding.
No, all the vultures are going to come circling now.
There's also the BTEC David Luiz there as well.
That guy how is he a defender, man? Who thinks?
You know what? That's funny. That Wout has got more than half bloody Wout in terms of goals this season. Dirty guy. But even Ward-Prowse at Southampton, Lavia, there's some good players for sale.
Really, man. He didn't deserve to play for Southampton. Like, I think he could be in any of our teams, I'd say, and he's probably the best he's taken in the world as well.
Yeah, and the less said about Leeds, the better. They're just awful.
I'm glad they've gone. I don't have any love lost for Leeds.
They're awful. Like their performer. Who hired Sam Allardyce in 2023?
What, the guy that thought he's better than Pep?
That'll go down in history.
Well, if Leeds win the championship, Pep will never ever win that. So
he's already won a championship.
No, it's the Sky Bet Championship.
No, I'm saying he's already won the Sky Bet Championship.
Oh,
with West Ham. No, Sam Allardyce.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did. Didn't he?
He's got nothing left to prove in that league.
Did he do it with Bolton as well?
I think he's won it twice. Yeah.
Yeah, he had that Muchi when he was at Bolton. It was the Muchi.
He used the Pep for championship team.
Yeah. Do you think the championship team sees Sam Allardyce and just fear him?
Probably.
Yeah, they're like, great, this guy's back again.
Did it, man? The hoofball's back. Where the hoofball actually works. We're working there. All right, we got 5 minutes. We need to wrap it up quickly. team of the season for you and why? Go ahead, Bav.
I'm going to say Brighton. They really surprised me with some of the football they played this season. And they seem to always lose a lot of players, and they lost their manager as well, but they just gone even better. Some of the football was out of this world. Mitoma, McAllister. So they're my team this season.
Nish?
Newcastle. Just the way they've turned it around. I know they got the money and everything, but the way they have transformed that club around and getting Champions League, they got some exciting players as well. Bruno Guimaraes, Isak, Trippier. He's turned them around since last January with his contribution. So yeah, I say Newcastle.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like I shouldn't pick any of what you got picked. I'm gonna go. I might go Aston Villa.
You can do if you want to pick them. You don't have to.
I think I would say Brighton, and I'd say Brighton would be my top. Then it'd be Newcastle, but I was go Aston Villa just to be different. Give them a little shout out too. I think they've had a really good year because they were always fighting for near relegation, and it's just changed. Watkins just stood out. Anyone that faced them, you'd be worried you're not going to get a win against them. So I feel like we've talked given Brighton and Newcastle everything, but yeah, give a special praise for Villa as well.
I think not many people are going to look forward to going to Villa Park next season now. They're going to be a very tough team to get any points off.
Well, it all changed when they sacked Gerrard, didn't it? that was what was holding them back.
That was their turning point.
So for me, there were four teams that did amazing this year, and you guys mentioned all three. And the other one was Arsenal. Can't forget about their impressive performance this year. I think they've overachieved this year, according to all the pundits in Sky. We're mentioning they don't even belong in top four. Even next year, not top four. Again, the bullshit has started. But yeah, four teams amazing this year. Arsenal, Aston Villa, Brighton, I think, have done the best out of all teams, and Newcastle. So well done to those four teams. Last question before we wrap it up. The Kutcher of the season. You are the Kutchers of the season.
There's only one answer. I think we've won in second place here. Yeah.
We need to play Chelsea's music for that to happen.
That should be our outro.
Edit that music onto this.
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
If there's one club who I wish that upon, it is Chelsea. Like they deserve it the most, especially after their spending. A horrible club.
The thing is, I don't know how they can spend any more money. Surely, if they try spending any more, FFP is going to get involved, and they can actually make a case against them, unlike what they can't do against City.
And the football's been diabolical as well. Absolutely dire.
Lampard, I think Dyche won more games than Lampard did over the whole season, and he only came in February.
The only reason Chelsea survived this season is because of Tuchel's 10 points that he had at the beginning that he got.
And now Tuchel doesn't even care. He's in Germany celebrating his league title with Bayern Munich.
Yeah. It's so amazing how one's career has gone to a league title, the other one's gone the opposite direction.
What about Cancelo? He's won the Premier League title and the Bundesliga.
In one season, yeah.
And no one wants him. Both teams don't want him.
And Pep thinks Pep's gone backwards, isn't it? Well, not backwards, but he's gone away from traditional fullbacks now. He used to put centre halves there.
Yeah, right. He's just mixing up.
Need to wrap it up. Let's
maybe just
for next topic. So thanks guys for joining, and thank you for sharing your opinions. Viewers, if you are new, please subscribe, hit that smash like button, show us some love. We'll start doing the season type of videos every week from now on throughout the summer, and transfer specials will come along about who we want to sign and so on. So please stay tuned, and peace out. See you next week.